Welcome to Financially Focused, where we mentor go-getting action takers who are ready to grow and reach their personal and professional goals. My name is Dennise Williams, an approved financial coach, and we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Now, that may not seem like a financial topic at first, but let me tell you, we have a special treat. We have Dr. Carolyn Hayles with us, a labor market researcher. And the idea is that many of us are not enjoying our careers, which is our main source of income, because we're self-sabotaging. Now, how does that work? Well, we're using the research from the positive intelligence information that says your saboteurs turn your greatest strength into your greatest weakness. You literally go too far. Now, Dr. Hayles, I'm going to run through the 10 ways we sabotage ourselves, yeah? And I want to talk about how that shows up in the workplace, all right? Okay, fantastic. All right, so the first saboteur is the judge. And this is basically, it impacts us three ways. The first is that we beat up ourselves. There's a lot of negative self-talk. Wake up in the morning and we already know everything that's wrong with us. But then we look around and we say, you know, everything's wrong with our coworkers. I don't like this girl, I don't like this guy, my boss is after me. Then we look at our circumstances and we judge and criticize where we are, where we live, the neighborhood, the country, and all of this energy in judgment. How do you see that in the workplace?
It really impacts the workplace. In fact, it impacts our entire environment. If you notice that we as a people are always judging.
Yes.
Why you never do it this way? If you did follow me, you couldn't do that. And then you say, but I never have enough, you know. But never looking to see, well, all right, where am I? What do we have? How can we make this work? Because there is always another side to the story.
Yes.
And you don't always, if you look at the negative, it's going to drag you down.
Yes.
Then they go into the workplace and they cause a problem with their co-workers.
Yes.
Because, you know, the people who always have a problem for every solution. If you say, open the door, boy, I can't go to the door right now, so, you know, because my toe hurt me, right? And they say, but, okay, so did you go to the doctor? No, because I don't have the money, I can't afford to go to the doctor. So how that become my problem on the job?
Yes.
You're here to work.
Correct.
So you need to leave all those issues outside and figure out how we're going to work as a team to accomplish what we need done.
Yes.
And what we are being paid to do.
Correct.
When they come with a negative attitude, it spills over and then the conflict starts and the unnecessary backbiting, and then the cliques emerge and then they start to fight each other, and it just goes and goes until somebody gets fired.
All right. So now we're going to go to the next way we self-sabotage, because here's the joke. Nobody's doing it to us, it's we do it to ourselves. Yeah. Okay. The avoider. So I think that's sort of self-explanatory, but this is really looking at someone who is focusing on pleasantry in an extreme way, and they're avoiding the work to be done. How does that turn up in the office or on any labor site?
That's something that really irritates me, because there are many people who keep saying, but you know, you can't say negative things, but if I'm supervising you, the way for me to help you grow is to show you in a positive way and in a pleasant way where you need to improve what you're doing. Because if you had mastered the skill, then you would have been the supervisor and I wouldn't be supervising you, we'd be somewhere else.
Right.
So what we have created in the country is this fear of failing, fear of being corrected. You take it that somebody's attacking you when in fact the person could actually be helping you to do something. So you then feel, oh, I can't say anything to Dennise because she might not like me. or she may want to speak badly of me or something, so you're always avoiding, so you try to be pleasant. That is going to lead to problems down the road, because the thing that needs to be fixed today.
What about avoiding actual work at work?
They do avoid actual work at work too. They walk around talking to people, going into the restroom, combing hair, making coffee, going to chat about somebody's business that doesn't concern them. Those are the ways, but they don't want to face what's at the desk, because it's either they're bored. Mainly they're bored. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. They know very well what they're doing. And they're highly competent. But they just are bored with that particular task. In fact, there was Ken Carter in the 70s wrote a book, Why Workers Don't Work. And he makes the point that the Jamaican workers are highly competent.
Yes.
But they don't like to work for Jamaican managers because of the same personality traits that we are just discussing now. So all of us have to look inside of ourselves and see what we are doing wrong and where we are sabotaging not only ourselves but other people around us and causing conflict and causing a negative work environment.
I can tell you that I really love this concept of positive intelligence and categorizing how we self-sabotage in 10 ways, and there's actually a quiz that goes along with this. And so if you can take your quiz and know, or if a manager could ask their employees to take the quiz, you could actually know how someone is self-sabotaging and get support.
But we see, if the manager asks the employee to take, it can be taken negatively. Why you want to know how I behave like that? What you're planning? So you don't want to give me the job, so you want to know how I operate? No. It's better for you as the individual to analyze yourself. Take these tests. Figure out where you are so that you know whether you really want to work for that company at all.
Right.
Because some places, you are not compatible.
Yes.
You just don't fit in that environment, and it's useless trying to avoid the fact that you don't fit in that environment and move on.
All right, so let's move on. The next one is the controller. Yes? Now here's the controllers are everywhere, right? You want things your way, and it should be, this is the only way. Now if you have a manager that's very controlling, how have you seen that manifest at work?
Oh, it manifests itself many ways. Some of them micromanage. They actually give you something to and stand over you to find if you want it. Well, if you're going to stand over me, you can do it yourself. Robots don't need to be doing. You don't need to buy a dog and bark too. Okay, so it's decide what it is you want me to do and allow me to do it. That's why you hired me. Then there are others who will not give all of the information because they believe that if they keep back some of the information, they can't get fired because I am now invaluable to this company. Nobody is indispensable. We'll figure out another way. So you need to cooperate. Manager or employee, you need to cooperate. Everybody is there because they have a competence and a skill. And it's part of a team. It's like a crossword puzzle. You have people with different competencies executing on a particular task. So you can't do everything. Somebody else has to pick up that other part of the slot.
All right. The next one is hyper achiever. Now let's be careful. Achievers are fantastic. They're the engine of any economy. They get things going. But when we tack on the word hyperachiever, this is now the workaholic. And they want everybody around them to match their workaholic tendencies, and they don't tend to have any concern about the emotional side of life. So, and how does that manifest?
You see, that hyperachiever. First of all, that's another issue. Perfection. There's no such thing. Okay. Nothing is perfect. Things always need to be improved. So if you can settle with that, this is the bar that we set as a minimum. And then if I go above that, I'm exceeding, then that's fine. But the way you also, this thing reflects so many ways of the Jamaican society. Mind your own business. like Tim Wall said.
Yes.
Take care of you.
Yes.
And how you live, how you operate, and how you work. And don't concern yourself with what Dennise is doing or how Dennise operates. Dennise is a completely different human being.
Right.
As I said before, we're all here to execute on a said task. And we're all here because we have different competencies that together can execute.
But if I have a very, very high energy,
Yeah.
as the manager, should I demand that everybody around me have the same high energy?
No, you can't, because people are different and you want a team that is different. You want a team of a different mix of people. I give you an example. I remember going to a training session and there was a young lady she's dyslexic. And she was very upset because she said every time she tried to explain to her team, that company had a task measure that they have to do so many things in a set time frame. But she took longer in creating reports and they were always at her. And she said every time she tried to explain to them that what they were doing, she saw another way. They refused to accept it, but she's dyslexic, so she sees things from a different perspective.
Right.
And if you listen to what she's saying, she might actually have the answer that you need to give you that high achievement that you're striving for. Because she's not seeing it the same way. We're not sheep.
Right.
You don't want a team of sheep.
Right.
You want people that will say to you, but what if we turn it the other way around?
Yes.
Or what if we turn it sideways?
Yes.
You think we could put 3 of them together instead of just one?
All right.
You see, so you need that kind of energy.
Okay, the next one. And remember what we're doing, we're going through the 10 ways that we self-sabotage and looking at how it impacts the office.
Yes.
Okay, the
next... And the country.
And okay. The next personality or the next way we may hurt ourselves, and I want to just say again, there is a quiz that persons can take and determine where they are self-sabotaging. All right, so the hyper-rational now, this is the person that is logical, they see things there's just no emotion. You know, we're looking at the workaholic that said no emotion. Now we're looking at the person who is very intellectual and they're always right because they see everything, but there is no emotion and they don't really care about, it's like if I tell you, I don't care about your life story. I don't really want to hear that. I want this, and how do you see that playing out? Because a lot of people say that the upper management is those personalities or those behaviors are rewarded at the top, and it may hurt people who are not so hyper rational and who are more emotional.
But remember, I said in the beginning, it depends on the company. You have to make up your mind. When you're going for a job, you interview the company.
Yes.
You don't just accept the job because the job is there. You interview the company. How does that company, how do their core values match with mine?
Right.
Because if it's a company that is Machiavellian and the ends justify the means, that person will do very well there.
Correct.
He or she doesn't care what's the matter with you and your child as long as they can get what they want. That's not how you manage people. And that doesn't work for the Jamaican workforce. Okay? And I've had over 2,500 people. And it doesn't work that way. Jamaican people like to be involved. So I say for Jamaica, Kaizen, the Japanese continuous improvement.
Yes.
For Jamaicans, it's continuous involvement that gives you the continuous improvement because they own whatever it is that is happening. If you try to exclude, they're going to disrupt. So that person, if you have somebody like that, as a manager, you have to zero in and manage that person very carefully that you don't disrupt or inject a toxic feelings into the company. I've had people like that, and you have to manage them very carefully to make sure that they don't disrupt the people around them.
Wow.
Yeah, they can be very disruptive.
Wow. Okay. Next one. Hyper vigilance. So this, you could almost say this is the person who cries wolf. They see a problem everywhere.
Oh, yes. Yes.
How does that play out in the workplace?
Well, you humor them.
You humor them?
I humor them. Okay, right. So tell me, what is the problem?
Yes.
All right, what is the worst thing that could happen? Let's plan for it. So
yes.
If it happens, we're ready. If it don't happen, we're good. We've
Right.
planned for it.
But that's every day.
But every day they come with something else,
Yes.
because that's how they get their energy. But
Right.
you will eventually, as a manager or the co-workers, realize, Dennise, they don't take on Dennise. They go in one ear and come out the other.
Right.
If you take her on,
Yes.
then you are going to feed into it and get all emotional and really begin to fear that something is going to happen. But if you analyze what's in front of you and analyze the data and the information, that's why it's important for companies to be transparent, so that the staff can go on the website and see exactly what is happening and say, Dennise, you're talking foolishness, man. You don't see the thing is there. The
Yes.
one-on-one is 2.
Right.
Now you reach 5.
Right. But what if the company is not
But
transparent?
if the company is not transparent, that's where you get the people making up stories. And you know what we say, if I not so near, so it goes. So they just get a hint of something and blow it out of proportion. And then the person who loves drama will be feeding right into it. And next thing you know, there are all kinds of rumors and all kinds of disruption emerging. So from a management perspective, it is very important to be open and transparent. Now I had a style where I would, every Friday, I met with my senior management. They disliked it intensely, but I did it for a reason. Because all of them need to know what is happening in the company, what happened during the week, and what is happening in the week forward. It minimizes a number of things. It minimizes them undermining each other and treading on their territory. And it allows everybody to know what is happening so that they can advise their own staff. And so when they see things, they say, oh yeah, we heard about that last week.
Wow. Okay. Next one, the pleaser.
Well,
This is the person who is trying to buy love and affection, trying to buy acceptance. And so, yes to everything.
yeah,
And then they take on too much and nothing's done. How do you deal
I'm
with it?
very cautious about those people because they will also put you in a lot of trouble. Trying to be always pleasing and saying yes and wanting to be liked. They don't stand up for principle.
Oh, so pleasers don't stand up
not
for
necessarily. No, because remember they want to be liked.
Wow, okay.
So I can't say to you, Dennise, what you did was wrong. You should not have done X, Y, or Z because I need Dennise to like me. It's the same thing with the likes on the internet. You want to be liked. And because it's a psychological thing, you know, that you have this need and this urge. Rather than saying, I am paid to do X. This is the company policy. And so we have to do it a particular way. If you don't like it that way, then go form your own company and go and do it somewhere else. Or find another company that is more compatible with the way you do things. But if you're in the people's company, and this is the way they do their particular type of business, then we have to comply. But the pleaser is somebody who is one of those people that will carry news and cause a lot of confusion. Yeah, that person needs to be, to me, those are the ones I like to avoid.
Okay.
If I can, but you have to manage them.
Right.
So you need to know what it is you're managing, and you will know that you can't put that person with another type of personality because that is definitely going to erupt. And then they will have major drama in the workplace.
Okay, next one, the restless. Now, again, remember, we're looking at the way we self-sabotage. So the restless is always looking for the next excitement, the next project, the next thing.
Yeah.
And they don't complete anything.
Yeah.
And the other thing, when you drill down, because again, companies can bring in this training, right? When you drill down into the restless, not only are they always looking for something exciting, they're actually looking for you to finish what they didn't finish. So they're always looking somebody else to do their work. But they want to be paid and they want to be recognized for what they started.
But you see, if that is a good employee, and you know that is their trait, then you create the environment where you send them to go do the research, go find out about so and come back and tell the team. And then the team will take it from there and do the rest. Because you have to work with the personalities.
I see.
Because they're different. And that's why you don't have sheep. You have different types of people on a team because somebody else is like, I don't want to go read anything and stuff. Make him go and go do it. So he'll go and do it and come back. But you know he's not going to finish the project.
Right.
So you have to flesh out the project now.
Right.
And somebody else who likes that kind of thing will take it from there.
So then the manager themselves has to be educated
Yes.
in these different behaviors.
And to spot them and know how to manage that team.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to manage the team.
But the restless person or the restless behavior, even though it's self-sabotaging, can be support. You can support it by having the team that wants to finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have the stickler.
Yes.
And that is actually another word for the perfectionist.
Yes.
How do you deal with the person? And the flip side is the perfectionist procrastinates, because if it's not perfect, they don't start.
They can't start.
Yeah.
And there's some of them that will actually start, complete, and then destroy the whole thing and start again because they just saw that little crack.
Yes.
That we can't send it out like that.
Right.
So they know. So you have wasted all of those resources. But the stickler, that's another one too, because they say, well, they don't like anything that deviates from the norm.
Yes.
They like regimentation. So somebody like that you find somewhere in compliance. Go and make sure that all the rules are followed, that Dennise is doing what she's supposed to do.
Right.
And then you can report it, because they like to report that this, 5 people came in on time, but 3 went somewhere else, and I don't know where the other 2 are, and so on and so forth.
Right.
They're happy with that.
So
you're working with personalities.
So even though the person may self-sabotage, as the manager, you create a winning situation for them.
It's going to cause a problem for you.
It's going to cause a. All right. Last and certainly not least is the victim. Now, what is critical with the victim is that they want a solution. Because if you solve the problem, they're no longer a victim. How do you deal with that in the workplace?
But I always tease you, because remember with the other interviews, you always say, well, somebody, your co-worker doesn't like you and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Well, that one, you just listen. You just listen, because he's not going to change. Like they don't want a solution to the problem.
Right.
They want to be, again, they're looking for attention, really, So you find things to give them to do, and you listen to the story. You half listen to the story. It goes in one ear and it comes out the other. And you kind of acknowledge that something is happening, right?
Right.
But you find things to keep them occupied, but you know that the griping and the grumbling coming with it, right?
Right.
So you just say, really, when did that happen? No, I must investigate it and so on and so forth, and then you come back and say, oh, I checked, but I didn't see that, anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So really and truly, what we're saying with these saboteurs, there's 10 ways. We all have it. Managers have it.
Yeah, the country, a lot of what you have described is what happens right here in Jamaica.
Okay.
On a day-to-day basis.
All right. And so in order for your workplace to be somewhere that is pleasant, effective, productive, a manager should understand how we self-sabotage, how to create winning situations, so that everybody feels welcomed.
Yes, everybody has to feel that they're welcome to the team and there's a place on the team for them.
Right.
And you just manage your personalities.
And
because they do it clash. So you have to know too that there's some personalities that you don't put together, because there's no managing that is going to erupt.
Okay.
So you may talk to HR and say, well, Dennise is best suited so and so because she might clash, because they've been sparking and they're good employees. But let's try and minimize the situation, or put Dennise on a project that she reports to you and the others do what they have to do, but manage all of them.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Hale. My name is Dennise Williams, your financial coach, and I'm encouraging you to learn more at our website, www.financiallyfocusedmedia.com, where you can access our free 30-day financial independence course.